Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend your neck, then pull it back. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders, lift them up, and curl them round. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight. Kick your foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up our span, parallel feet. Choose one side, Cross and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift your weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Short one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, when we do the Heisman, we have parallel feet. We cross and we sit, shift our weight and sit on the side where our hand is up higher, rather than throw our Tai Chi posture out and lean this way. Okay, so you parallel feet, you cross, you sit, you shift your weight and sit on this planted foot rather than lean. Okay, and then the stretch after you sit comes with the hand. Okay, but you don't want to lean this way. Neither do you want to lean this way. Okay, the stretch is with their hand and sit and plant on the foot that you're, and the feet are parallel now, not open like this, but parallel, okay? All right, we'll get better as time goes by, okay? Use those helpful hints. All right, in having a good Tai Chi posture, we're gonna have to drop our shoulders. As a result, we're relaxed on the top, we're lighter on the top, heavier from the waist down. Our chest is hollow or curved, whereas our butt is tucked under. Our head is erect, but our chin is slightly down rather than parallel to the floor. Our glance is way ahead. Our middle finger sits to the side seam of our pants. Okay? And we're going to practice our golden cockerel. If my stance is here, I'm going to have a little trouble. So I'd rather see you at about a block away from each foot. But yeah, okay, so we talked about our knees. The knees should be relaxed, but not to the point where they're flexed, because there's no energy that's already started. So we're just going to have to not lock our knees and not tighten them up, but just relax them, because we know that there's going to be motion or a movement. When we are a golden cockerel, we know that we're going to have to shift our weight from one side to another. We usually start with being a golden cockerel standing on its left. Therefore, we're going to have to shift the weight off of our right foot and come up center and counterbalance. In this motion, I'm showing you where the hands should be. The right hand in the center of your body, the left hand sits to the side of your body. Not drooping like this, but in a cocked position to hold your balance, okay? And I talk about a pocket under your underarm, rather than something here, it's out here. The foot that comes in and the right hand that comes up should center your body, rather than something out here, which is an extreme. You'll never get your foot up without feeling like you're going to fall, okay? So when we talk about our hands helping us along with our feet, it shifts like this. And sometimes when you do this, if your foot wants to come up higher, your middle hand, your front hand starts to elevate also, while your back hand stretches out. It's a soft movement. We're not looking for something long. We're not looking for something high. We're just trying to achieve and teach our body that we have supportive measures within our own system that helps us to be safe. And at the same time we're doing this, we're building up endurance, muscle strength, learning more about our body, and of course, more confidence. Okay, last set, one more. All right. So we also talked about kicking out with our right and left. When we kick out in our right and left, we have also supportive measures. We start with 50% on each of our limbs. When we kick out with our right hand is on the outside of the cross, and then it kicks in line with the right foot. The left hand now counters the hand that's in the front. We gather our energy, we're at 50-50, we gather our energy, we bring up our right foot, we center, we kick out. Shifting our weight, left hand, left foot up, and out. When we kick with our foot, it's not a toe kick, it is a heel kick. And watching me, you may think that I don't know this, but I do have some challenges. So just the way your hand or palm of your hand is kicking, not with its fingers, the heel of your foot is leading your kick. Last one. Okay, so what did I say? We said that it's not a football kick where you're using your toe, but you're using the heel to lead your kick. You're using your heel, like your palm, to lead your kick, rather than this way. So you try to do that. We're not, here again, we're not looking for a high kick, we're not looking for duration, endurance, but we're looking for something that's safe and in balance. Where we bring up the foot, okay, this is important. When we bring up our foot, we center our energy. So can you see that this is a simultaneous motion? Okay, so this crossing of my hand helps me with my one-legged kick or one-legged balance at this point. So to understand that clearly, this is incorrect. I cannot bring up my hand and then say, uh-oh, here comes my foot. It doesn't work. There's a misalignment there, a disconnect, okay? So let's try it for size. Shift your weight, cross, up, and out. Okay, good, okay. All right, then we learned how to do our feet stance, or footwork. We said that, I'm gonna turn this way so it'll be hard for you to follow at this point. We said that one foot has to bear all our weight, and that's the substantial foot. The other foot is the insubstantial or weightless foot that is allowed to move. This is called a T stance, like a capital letter T. When we come out and to the side, we need to be in an L stance, and in a perfect Tai Chi world, when you drag that foot, there should be a gap between the two heels. To achieve that, we're going to have to come out and to the side on our heel in one motion. Therefore, it's here. We also might want to add that if you're exaggerating that stance, you may run into some difficulty. Here I am exaggerating my stance. It's too wide, therefore my weight has to be somehow distributed on this weightless foot, and it's pulling me. And that can never happen. So I'm going to modify that, and I'm going to come out and to the side in a softer, smaller span. So this is your call, and then you need to practice and say, what is it that I need to adjust? So as long as this foot, when dragged back, has a span, you're in a safe position. If it's too cramped, I would say learn to move it out a little bit further, okay? When the energy is stored on the back foot, it cannot just jump to make it 50-50 or 60-40 distribution of weight. Energy does not work that way in a Tai Chi world. If 98% of my weight is stored in the back, and I put my heel down on an L stance, the energy is still stored here. It needs to come up from my toes, my feet, my ankle, my legs, my knees, my thighs, my hips, my waist, my chest, my shoulders, and then it comes down in probably a 60-40. But for now, we can just say 50-50 or something near that. When it's in this position, we called it a bow stance. Mainly because, okay, so the energy comes up here, rises through my torso, out through my shoulder and down. Before I talk about anything else, you're allowed to move this back foot just before the front foot is firm down to now a 45-degree angle, right? Because right now it's a 90-degree angle. But to come out this way, I can't move that hip unless I shift and pivot to a 45-degree angle. So this is correct, my bow and my arrow. Okay, I've said a lot, but let's try to see whether we understand it by moving, okay? So we're on a T stance, weighted down on our right. We're on a insubstantial foot or weightless foot on our left. Here we go, out on an L. Make that energy travel for you. Before you flatten out, adjust the back foot to a 45-degree angle. Your knee should never be beyond your toes. Push that knee beyond your toe. What happens? Your Tai Chi posture moves and pushes to the front. Therefore, you want to bring back the knee, align it to your toe, and you're now standing in an upright position with your silk silver thread adhere to your skull and your dantian points of your body. Sit back, sit down. 2 movements rolled into 1. Come back to your bow stance. Watch what I'm going to do. You cannot sit back this way. This is out of Tai Chi posture. It's going to make me fall back. So how do we correct it? First, make sure your knee is aligned to your toe. Then sit back, sit down. What happens to the knee in front? The knee now is straight, whereas the back foot is flexed a little bit more because this is going to be your insubstantial or weightless foot that is allowed to move. Go over it again. This is your bow stance. This is your sit back, sit down. Then you ask yourself, if you were to have that silk silver thread drilled to the skull, are you still upright rather than favoring your back, which is arching your back, or leaning any other way? Okay? Weighted fully down on the right foot. Use your heel to pivot. Weight down on that left foot. Right foot bringing it up as a weightless foot, as a T stance. Out and to the side on your heel on an L. Move the energy all the way over before you flatten. 45 to back foot, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, root down, T, L. Move that energy in a very effective way. Adjust the back foot, flatten down, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Straighten out the front knee. Pivot, root down, T, L. Move that energy in a deliberate way. Adjust the back foot, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. T stance. Okay, good. So, like everything else, something new has to be worked on, has to be practiced. So your body knows your mind knows what to do. Your eyes surely tell you what you see is what you should implement. And then now the hard part is making your mind and your vision work for you to make your movement correct, okay? And we'll take anything at this point. It's better to do something a little bit correct and a little bit wrong than do nothing, okay? We also learn two movements, commencing form and repulsing of the monkey. So that's what I want to review today so we can tackle a harder third movement called brush knee, okay? So in commencing form, we are in good Tai Chi posture, and unlike golden cockerel where we had our feet apart, we need to bring it in, okay? Because that's part of how all Yang style commencing form. When we drop our shoulders, our middle finger stays to the side seam of the pants. Our shoulders are drooped, our chest is hollow, our butt is tucked under, our chin is slightly down. We have good thoughts running through our mind or vision. Our silk silver thread is holding us erect. And don't forget that our center of gravity is 2 inches below your navel, called your dantian. When we commence, we think through how commencing form works. Slowly drain the weight off of our left foot so that our heel can come up. We're on our arch, we're on our sole, we're on our toe. At 100%, we can lift off the ground, place our toe down, our sole, our arch, our heel, 50-50. Hands then rotate to the middle of the thighs as we take a deep breath in and elevate as if we're drawing up water. At shoulder level, we're going to make ourselves small. How do we do that? We drop our shoulders, drop our elbows, drop our wrists, flex your knee. We center our left hand. We rise up our back or right hand. We open both hands to the ceiling. We bring the back hand closer to our ear as we glance at it. We turn our face. We meet both hands in the middle. We slide forward and we slide back. We center. Back hand rises up higher. We glance. We bring it closer to our ear as we glance. Turn our neck. Meet both hands in the middle. Are your hands like mine? The right hand, ball's gonna come from the ceiling. The left hand, the ball's coming from the wall, from the behind me. So this is when you meet both hands. At the meeting point, you slide the bottom hand or right hand back and the top hand forward. That's when you're repulsing the monkey. We're preparing to repulse the monkey. We center, we open to the ceiling, the back hand comes to our ear as we glance. We turn our face, our neck, meet both hands in the middle. We slide forward, slide back. We center, back hand higher. We glance, we bring it to our ear, turn our face, making sure our mittens are getting ready to catch that ball from the ceiling and from the wall. Up higher, center, open, ear, turn, meet, repulsive of the monkey. Center, higher, glance, ear, turn, meet, slide. Okay, all right, so good. You have the bigger movement in. Now take care of your hands. Some hands are fully extended, which is not Yang Tai Chi. Yang Tai Chi style, there is a bend in the elbow. It's soft. It can never be extended stiff. So the hand that's in the center can never reach out. If you do that, and we can do it now, reach that hand, the left hand, out. What does it make you do? It shifts your posture. Therefore, bring it back and say, I have my posture, I have my bend in the elbow. So you know specifically, I talked about hands, fingers. The ball is coming from the ceiling, you need to be able to catch it. You don't catch it like this, but you catch it in a mitten way. So the four fingers are closer together, the thumb is apart. The other ball is coming from the angle. Therefore, it needs to come this, you need to spread it apart as if it were gonna catch a ball, not any other way. Bring it here, glance, rather than turn your body and do an extreme looking. You just glance, because you don't want to move your hips and misalign your body. You want to be able to just turn slightly and still keep your position or your alignment. Come back here, turn, meet and look at the two hands, then slide and look out into infinity. Center, higher glance, turn, meet, push and pull. Okay? All right, so I know that you'll get better and better as time goes by because you're very conscientious, okay? The new movement is very challenging, okay? But anything you can give it at this point is very good. And what you do to get it going will make you feel like you've accomplished a lot. It is called brush knee. So when you brush your knee, one hand comes out and brush your knee. The other leg comes out and you brush your knee, but in a specific way. So you're not going to try it because you don't know what to do yet, okay? It's easier to see it first and then we can drill it. When we brush our knee, we are on a T stance. One hand, the left hand this time, is parallel. This is my sense of parallel. What are the parameters for parallel? The fingers are closer to the chest while the elbow is down, rather than this way, waist to waist. The parallel hand sits with its fingers closer to your chest in a slant, okay? And it's not next to my shirt, it's not far away from my shirt, but it's medium, okay, medium. In my mitten form rather than in my glove form, so my mitten. The other hand is up higher and I'm glancing at it in my mitten form as if there was catching another ball, similar to repulsing of the monkey for this hand. We're going to multitask. When you multitask, you do many things at one time. This is only what the hand does. The hand goes down on the parallel hand, and the hand that's out higher comes to your area of your ear, all right? It does another thing. This is only core muscles moving now, and maybe not even our core because we're not moving all of our body. So it's maybe purely hands, but know that it is not purely hands when we finally move it all together. So you're gonna watch to see what I'm gonna talk about. So this is essentially what you're gonna learn, okay? So we said that Tai Chi is not purely hands. So we're gonna keep our parallel hand, we're gonna keep the hand that's gonna come to our ear. First, we're gonna learn that the ear and the parallel hand do a simultaneous task. Ear and down, ear and down. Can you do that? Ear and down, ear and down. You're on a T stance, ear and down. Ear, down, and around. Okay, you can position yourselves like me. Ear, down, and around. That's how it's going to brush your knee. But something's not quite right because we haven't put our feet together. So you're going to watch first. we're on a T stance, we want to get to an L stance, and we want to get to a O stance. But we're going to have to do it with our hands, with our whole body. So how are we going to do that? First, position your feet as a T stance. Root down and store that energy, because you know you're going to do an L stance and then a bow stance to do brush of your knee. But where does your hands play into it? The parallel hand is your left hand. Fingers closer to your chest. The right hand is up higher, and you're wearing your mittens in both cases. When you do this motion, you're going to come out with your heel. Turn the hips and waist as you brush your knee. Okay, and everybody's eager to try, so we're going to do the other side. Sit back, sit down. Pivot or twist step. Parallel and higher on a T stance. You're going to come to an L stance. Out on an L. Turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. T, parallel higher. This is a drill. Multitask. Ear, down, heel, turn hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, parallel higher on a T, ear, down, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel and T. Okay, so good attempt, good try, doing a good job. So if in case this happens with you where you don't know remember where to put your hands. What you're confused with maybe is that we need to drill a little bit more about hands. If in case your hands are good and your feet somehow forgets that you have to come on an L and then a bow stance, then you're going to have to separate the hands from the feet and then later put it together. Right now we're doing like a little crash course because maybe your footwork is not as clear as you would like it. And then when we mix our hands together, there's some confusion. But I know that when you go home, you'll get it all straightened out through practice. So this is what we were trying to do. This is a T stance. This is my parallel and higher. We're going to do a multitask. Turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, rooting down, parallel and higher, glance, multitask, brush knee. So it is one of the most difficult movements for the 10 form. It comes early, and the next movement in maybe a couple weeks, depending on how well you accomplish this movement, is easier. However, if you learn all the elements in any movement, they're applicable for all Yang style Tai Chi. All right? So here are some hints. You learn firmly that this is a T, this is an L, move that energy, this is a bow. How is that going to help you do brush knee? Remember I used the term, the hands go for the ride. In Tai Chi, it's the whole body. It's not just hands, it's not just feet. It's hands, feet, mind, vision, the whole system working, especially the core. If I didn't know that, and I was doing brush knee, and I'm only using my hands, this is how it would be. I'm contorted, I'm misaligned, and my body did not work for me. I just know that all I have to do is bring it to my ear and then come around. When we use our whole body, the hands hardly move on its own. The hands move only because it's attached to my core. Watch to see if this is true. So our hips and waists are very important. If we're not using hands and we're on our T stance and we're on our L stance, the hips and waists will move my hands no matter where I am. They happen to be ready so that they'll end up here. But why do they end up there? They end up there because I move my hips and waists and my hands go for the ride. I am not moving my hand to make it come here. I am moving it only because my body makes it move. Okay? All right. It's a big task, okay? And we're constantly trying our best to make our hands go for the ride and use our core to help it move, okay? And our mind, it's mind-driven, core-driven, not purely hands and fingers and wrists and elbows, okay? All right, let's try it again. T-stance, parallel hand, higher hand. This is the motion you're gonna do, and this is the motion you're gonna end up with, right? Ready? Ear, down, heel, turn the hips and waists, brush knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, parallel higher, T, root down. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waists, adjust the back foot, brush knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, parallel higher, T, glance. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waists, brush knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, T, root down. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waists, brush knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, T. All right, so I'm gonna break it down a little bit more, okay? And face you. So you're gonna be a little bit opposite from me, but you're gonna still do it, okay? So your left hand is parallel to your chest in a mitten, okay, wearing a mitten. Your right hand is up, not across from you, but slightly back, but not to the way back so that your hip has to turn. So parallel and slightly back, and a little higher rather than at the same level of your parallel hand. This is essentially what you're doing. Do it with me. As your hand comes to the ear, the parallel hand comes down. It turns and it catches that ball in the center. The right hand is now parallel. Can you get the right hand parallel? And the left hand higher. You're doing the other side. Multitasking, ear and down and heel, but we're not doing the feet, okay? Ear, down, out, and around. Left hand parallel, right hand higher. Ear, down, around, push. Right hand parallel, left hand higher. Ear, down, push, set. Left hand parallel, right hand higher. Ear, down, around, brush your knee. Right hand parallel, left hand higher. Ear, down, around, brush your knee. Last one. Left hand parallel, right hand higher. Ear, down, turn, around. Okay? So that's what our hands do. Our hands do this. Only watch. It's easier to put feet and hands together because the hands go for the ride. It makes sense. If we were to stay here like we did, it doesn't really make sense. it needs to fill the gaps and the pukas up to make it a whole. Ear, hand, heel, turn your hips and waist, brush your knee. And this way, right hand parallel, left hand higher on a T. Ear, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Whereas we were struggling, this needs to come out in a natural way. So the hips and the waist definitely help our movements. Our mind is there to help us through the thinking process, okay? Let's try it again. On a T stance, left hand parallel, right hand higher. Glancing at your back or right hand. What do we need to do? Let's think it through. We need to multitask. The top hand comes to the ear at the same time our parallel hand comes down. This is the motion that we need. Automatic. When one comes to the ear, the other one comes down. The other one comes down. This is a simultaneous motion, but we need to add something more. We need to come out on an L stance, okay? So this is our T stance, left hand parallel, right hand higher. We need to come out on an L stance, and L stance, and L stance. So 3 things happen. Closer to your ear, coming down, and a heel. When we turn our hips and waist, the hands go for the ride. Can we try that? We're on a T stance. Left hand parallel, right hand up higher. We're going to multitask and do 3 or more things. What are the 3 or more things? Bring it to the ear, bring down the parallel hand, bring out our heel. All right, ready? 3 things, all done together. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Again, T, ear, hand, heel, turn, brush, knee. Why am I not going to let you do the other side? I want to give you the confidence that you can do it. If I were to go right away to the other side, it may cause some confusion. So when you go home to practice, you do your right dominant hand if you're right-handed. You get it down really well. At this point, when you brush your knee, you should adhere to your alignment. Is your knee aligned to your toe, or is it thrown forward just because that right hand is more forward? No, you need to bring it up and keep your alignment. Otherwise, you are going to fall forward. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. Root down. To balance, you're going to center yourself, right hand parallel, left hand higher, on a T stance. You're going to practice and think through how you're going to multitask. Ear and hand, ear and hand, ear and hand, ear and hand and heel. Turn the hips and waist, finish off your movement. Again, T stance, parallel, right, left, higher. You're going to think through that you're going to do an L with the ear and the hand coming down. Here we go. Ear, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. One more time. T stance, parallel and higher, glancing at your left hand. Multitask. Ear, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist, adjust that back foot, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Root down on the right, parallel higher on a T. Multitask. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Think through, pivot or twist step, root down, T stance, parallel and higher. Multitask. Out on an L, bring it to your ear, turn your hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Parallel higher on a T. multitask. Ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. T stance, parallel and higher. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Now look at yourself. Are you in good Tai Chi posture? Why or why not? Is your knee not over your toes? Do you still have your bow and arrow? Are you not locked in on your back knee? Are you straight up? Sit back, sit down. Twist, pivot, parallel and T. All right, hold your position. Let me look at your parallel and T. Parallel, higher and T. Parallel, higher and T. Where does your face, where do you look? Do you turn your body? You look at your other hand. Can you look at your top hand? Just turning your neck. All right, now show me how you multitask. Out on an L, bring it to your ear, drop the parallel hand, brush your knee. Show me how you brush your knee. Sit back, yeah. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, parallel and higher on a T. Twist step, parallel higher. Out on an L, move that hand, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, T, parallel and higher, multitask, ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, twist step, right hand parallel, left hand higher, out on your heel, bring it to your ear, drop that parallel hand, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, parallel higher on a T. Multitask, ear, hand, heel, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, hold your ball on a T. Okay, it really looks like you're doing Tai Chi. It really looks like you're thinking through, your mind is active, your body is trying to listen to what your mind is telling, and that's very, very good. Not easy, but no one's gonna help you but yourself, okay? And that's the ideal big benefit that Tai Chi can give you, okay? I think you're really doing a good job. If you can take what you have now and replicate and repeat and do it, duplicate it at home, you're going to be on a good path. If you feel, and I think most of you feel, that it's really, really hard and you don't know where the hands are or where you should be, that is also good because it's going to bother you to get it right. So you're going to have to practice, you're going to have to look at it, you're going to have to recall, you're going to have to force your system to work for you. That is what Tai Chi is about. But believe me, it does get better. Everybody went through the same thing, and I can tell you from experience, before I took lessons from a master, Ken knew Tai Chi, and he was teaching me. And I gave up. I said, forget it, I'm not gonna do it. And to have someone tell you that everything you do is wrong, it's not a good feeling. But I'm not gonna, knowing my experience, I'm not gonna tell you that you're wrong. I'm gonna tell you, you have a good start. To do something wrong is good because you're gonna be bothered by it and you're gonna want to perfect it. So this is where we're at, okay?
I sort of want to reiterate what Lucille just said. We all start from somewhere, and I must say we have a wide variety of individuals who either have been here and know the routine, to those who are new here. But the important thing, particularly those that are beginning, is that you've come here to learn about your body and your mind, even though you thought it was just, I'm going to learn Tai Chi. You are going to learn, if you persist, how your body functions at present versus hopefully what it will do as you progress or persist, I should say, and progress. So don't get disappointed in how you're performing. I think it's just something like, probably even the best scholar had to have the first day in school. And for most of us, me included, the first day in school was very traumatic. Here, you get here, and you think you know your body, and then you find you don't quite know your body, particularly in a situation where you're learning something totally new, and you've never done this before. It becomes a double dose, Many of us, when in our younger days, you're a little quicker of mind and a little bit more nimble, and you don't pay attention to how your body functions because it functions good enough. As we get older, some people are prompted to come here and say, my doctor said I have to come here because I've been having dizzy spells or I'm tending to fall. And you've never fallen before. Well, you're not the age you are now before. You're now what you are. And some things have changed. And there are some things where your ability initially, physically, you say, geez, I used to love to watch football every Sunday. And you don't get too much exercise except when there's something exciting and you jump up and down. But anyway, be patient with yourself and persist. It will get better. Do not measure yourself by, oh man, I don't know what I'm doing. Certainly, if you were to look at yourself, that would become evident. But that's okay. We're all in the same boat. We've all started from somewhere. I also want to talk about some things where Tai Chi deals a lot in circles and spirals. And the movements we've done are spirals. Okay, brush knee. Both hands are up here. And then this is coming down, this is coming this way, this is coming this way, this is coming back up, okay? Because what will happen is one hand is doing this. You see, if you just watch my hand, you know that I'm facing you, my palm is facing you, my palm is not facing you, not facing you. All of a sudden my palm turns and I'm facing you again. So if nothing else, the hand is spiraling. But the same thing, your whole arm is spiraling. You are doing one of these things, okay? And the other hand is doing the same thing, but it's going not quite in sync. Yeah? So whenever you do that, you say, geez, where's my hand supposed to go? Well, I got to think about it. I'm turning. I'm not just mechanically. It's across the chest, coming down. Across the chest, coming down. Okay. Even repulsing the monkey. Okay. You are here. What's happening? This is coming this way. This is coming this way. But guess what? It's going to be doing. It's going to be coming that way, spiraling. Okay, so if you don't quite know what the two hands are supposed to be doing, start to think, what's the common spiral maneuver that's happening? And one more point. The hands help you with your balance too, just like everything else. But say, for instance, if we are doing repulsing the monkey, you don't see that in this movement, but if you persist and we do the 24, this hand becomes a stabilizing hand, because if you are out here, you're out here, this stabilizes so that when you come down, you're stabilized. You come up, this hand is stabilizing you when you're here, but when it comes up, you bring your legs up, stabilizing again. When you come this way, this starts to stabilize, and this holds you there, okay? Brush knee, you're out, we're trying to get you to do this maneuver, and you get involved with, hey, the hand's gotta be here and here. But before the hand is here, the spiral comes down, spiral comes up. And what happens? I got this hand, because this leg is sticking out, I could conceivably tip here. But if I say, I want all my goods into my leg, if I come up with both, I've counterbalanced. And then as you come forward, you're going to come forward, you drop your hands, and that's the position. Okay? So think about being expansive when you do your brush knee. And other things. Think about outstretching the hands. Don't make it so.
To sum it up is that Tai Chi helps us with dealing with the here and now, what's on task at the moment, frees us of all the extraneous things. We're focused and we're concentrating. So in Ken's last comment about how you're eager to come out here, step back several steps and say, everything has a purpose. It's slowly done in a whole way, and every piece counts, rather than say, oh, I better get out here. Okay, so it slows you down. It's very practical for everyday tasks.